Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZimunews update apo patinoda kupa mafirst hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekushare. Sekuziva kwatiri kuita kuti muzuva ranhasi ndopapinda nhaurwa yakakwidzwa nema-war veteran nema-retired generals vari go against or vachioposa constitutional amendment bill number 3 kumatare edzimhosva. So zvashamisa vanhu ndezvekuti mabig journalist or mastate medias watonzi hatikuda kuwaona mukati. So weruzhinji wamwe vari kuti pamweni tatonzwira tsitsi because togona kuzorwadziwa nezvinenge zvichipakurwa najaji imomo muri yeZimbabwe. So tine nhauwa yatinayo panapa, tichazoenda kunhauwa dzacho munyatsa kuona kuti zvakamira sei. Tichaenda futi kunhauwa yasonja namai wacho ari kuenda kumatare edzimhosva moona kuti zvakamira sei. Tongoti kana uri mutsvasa pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekushare because panapa tatichiunza ma-hottest update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona panapa kanyorwa kunzi under the Mnangagwa regime, Zimbabwe National Army generals are dying like flies faster than Ukraine generals in a actual hot war. Tiri kuona mhuri yeZimbabwe ndo zviri kuitika. What baffles me most know commissioner generals are dying in ZRP, CIO or ZPC. Only the army muri yeZimbabwe ndo zvongoitika kuti ndofunga muri kuona magenerals esa army ndio iri kungofa chete because kumapurisa kune akambofa iri munguru since hakuna kumajeri waparadza izimondi but wakatobva kuarmy ranga retired general uchichi chimwana. So tiri kuona ndo zviri kuitika panapa. Vari kutaura kuti kuchamhanyiwa soon ndi lieutenant general Sigauke Mapuranga. So takuti tiende panapa muri yeZimbabwe munyatsa kunzwa kuti chichi kunyatsa kuitika. Tomboenda pasonja panapa munyatsa kuona kuti chichi kunyatsa kumboitika muri yeZimbabwe. Tiri kuona panapa ndi sonja uyu. So takuti tiwerengetese panapa muone kuti zvakamira sei. Tiri kuona panapa I am told now facing one charge. I am told now sonja now facing one charge which is under cybercrime, and the court appearance has been delayed because Amai is doing rounds at the magistrate court. She is seen attending the magistrate court, and it's being reportedly that she is attending the sentencing of the murder who pleaded guilty to 10 murders and rape allegation. Video credit. Tiri kuona muri yeZimbabwe zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka. Nawikini wachibvayo vari kushandisa mari kuti vange vachisungisisa vamwe vanhu vasitomboronakana nemhosva. Tiri kuona ramanyaki chimwembo vakaparawo mhosva but zviri kukonzeswa nawikini wachibvayo. So tiri kuona panapa live streaming iri kunzi yarambidzwa mumatare edzimhosva pari kuitwa nhauwa dzema-war veteran idzi. Tiri kuona panapa constitutional court of Zimbabwe varambidza live stream because hazvina zvinomira zvakanaka muri yeZimbabwe. Zvinhu zviri kubhoila chaicho, kubhoila kuita kukwata chaicheko. So tira kuti tende pana rutendo matinyarare panapa. Tichazoenda kune vakuru vari kupatsanura nhauwa dzacho idzodzo tono zvakamira sei. Regedzai tende pana rutendo matinyarare panapa tinzwe kuti nyaya na wikino chivhayo iri kufamba sei. Tiri kuona panapa vari kufamba pa inhauwa vari kuenda kukoti nemagweta avo. Zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka. Regedzai tinzwe rutendo matinyarare kuti ari kuti kudini.
I don't know if there are many communicators that impress me the way that AC Lumumba impresses me. And so I was listening to his argument that he's giving about Sonia and Wicknell. And as a man who is a single father, I understand the problems that we have seeing our children. It was quite persuasive. But there were a few loopholes. Let's listen to this.
To make a case on why I entirely support Wicknell Chivayo and the arrest of Sonia and Sonia's mother. To people who don't know the inners, they want you to see a guy who was snapped, a rich, powerful man who snapped is a useful story for Sonia and her legal team. Because the alternative story is a father who simply ran out of acceptable options, who gave you the hand and you wanted to take everything else. We have a system that is specifically engineered to make a father beg for 30 minutes of his own child. The real issue in Wicknell's story with Sonia has to do with I know what Wicknell is doing. I understand exactly why he is doing what he is doing because he has been pushed past every acceptable limit.
Now that is genius. AC Lumumba had won me over with that argument. He had touched my emotions and tweaked my emotions, because as a single father, I know how it is that women can manipulate children, deny you access to your children in order to try and manipulate you. And I know many tetes had also fallen for the very same thing. But the problem comes when he suggests that Sonia and the mother have been arrested because of denying Wicknell access to his children. Two issues come up. First of all, when you read the statement that was put up by ZRP, they're suggesting that Sonia and the mother were arrested for fraud. When you also read what it is that Varakashi and the newspapers are saying, it seems like the suggestion is that Sonia and the mother have been arrested for fraud. So Wicknell has got to decide, is it fraud, or is it because he's denied children, or is it because they stole his phone, or is it because they leaked pictures of him and Ramaphosa? Right now, there's no clarity. And then AC Lumumba himself admits that Sonia was in China, and when she came back, Wicknell had his children. And he says he had his children because Sonia was not taking care of the children properly. So how then was he denying the children from Wicknell when Wicknell actually took the children? You know what I'm saying? This is one of the only areas that I actually had a problem with what was a seamless presentation. Let's listen to the second part that I also had an issue with.
But as a courtesy to Sonia, I want to take Sonia's position seriously for one moment. Sonia attended a Lobola ceremony in July 2017, voluntarily, publicly, and with witnesses. And then she lived inside that relationship for 7 years, had children with Wicknell inside of that relationship, built a life inside of it, and then called it a marriage whenever it suited her. And then discovered it was technically unregistered at the precise moment that she needed a financial exit. $25 million is what she wanted. 3 Rolls Royces and prime properties. Sonia has always been trying to negotiate an exit financial plan. Never has she tried to negotiate a real co-parenting plan.
Now, this issue becomes even more interesting because this is an issue that's playing itself out in South African courts right now. Black Coffee went to court to argue that he was married traditionally to his wife and they did not have a registered marriage, and so therefore he does not owe her any alimony or a settlement. But the courts of South Africa said if Black Coffee was married traditionally, then it is automatically a marriage in community of property, and he must give 50% of his wealth to his wife. In most African countries, particularly in Zimbabwe, there is this notion that if a man makes money, he is doing his wife a favor. And so
there's other people that will be allowed to do the streaming, or will be allowed in court to be able to get the news out to the people. That's all I'm saying.
So why Jason is bringing, and I don't understand why you bring Chamisa.
Ngati siyani nayo nyaya Jason Meads natsa kutomboda kana uzvinzwa Chamisa. Yana nesushama.
I don't even understand also. Jason Meads, are you fighting this question? I mean, bill number 3, which side are you standing? I don't understand you.
Let me just give my contribution quickly because
okay, go ahead. On Gabriel.
Guys, Nyaya Mike Chimombe was broadcast live. Somehow that one they decided it's of public interest. People need to see. And now they are saying we don't really see why this should be broadcasted. A matter so huge like this where everyone needs to know what's happening to the constitution that represents them, because the constitution speaks on behalf of the people. So if anything is going to be affected, the public needs to know whether they show interest or not. You should know, no. This should be out there so that the people know what's happening to their document. And then you say, no, there's no need for us to, we don't see any good reason. I don't remember exactly how you read it. These are the things that need to be out there so that everybody knows exactly what's happening and understand. They want to hide it. Because after, in as much as yes, journalists can be there, we all know how our journalists, majority of them, they work for the state. So they will speak things that will make sure their narrative is well communicated. Very few voices will be there, will be independent enough to give us exactly what happened. And it's a whole day. or maybe it's going to be days on days of people arguing these things. And if you are not there, there is no summary good enough to give you that. Somebody raised a good example with in South Africa cases like this. They always make sure that they are broadcast so that people know. So they shouldn't be making us interested in subjects that we don't care about. And then they want to broadcast it live. And yet things that actually matter to us, when we want to know, they say, but no, there's no need. You have not raised enough points for us to consider that this should be publicly streamed. I think this is just showing us the trajectory of what this case might be. If we are to take this decision that they've made, we can also see with some of the arguments. Of course, Panama arguments are got Siani, and they might choose one that they will say, okay, this is a good statement, but that's the trajectory that this thing is taking. So yeah, I don't think we can really rely on the courts to be in our favor.
Can I engage you? You know, there is a saying, a dealer's price does not go down. There is a question that we have not addressed. What are we fighting? Are we fighting CAB, or we are using CAB as an opportunity to step up the volume and to system? I'll tell you why. If you go into a court undecided, there are technicalities that when you miss the question or you don't answer precisely, you lose the case. So if we are given coverage, if we allowed ourselves to be kudroiwa semakatuni kuti chauya monzi 10 left todai tobatwa zviwe todai, I'm not saying it's not a bad wish, but there are so many things. It's not just coverage. It looks like we are all over the shore, in my view, in terms of what we want. Because when we have a very serious issue in a court of law, there are specifics. Is it the curb that you don't want? Is it Munangagwa? What is it? I'll tell you, just to limit the two questions. We'll be found rolling our eyes up and down. Apart from venting, which is very good, I struggle to find out what is our heads of argument. And even if I was given an opportunity to suggest for citizens, at Chad, coverage or no coverage, zvakangofanana. Because you know what? These people, they are not ordinary people, they are criminals. It's a well-orchestrated crime syndicate. They will give you what you want. You become the only problem. Once bob pamusoro pacho nyaya yetotaurwa maonyera kuti mobva zimbabwe ngamuite runyararo munhu wese ngatigare pasi tikinywa ndikinywa akutotaura kudaro, so predict that happening. But if the story yekumisa kwete chinhu ichi yekumisa system to uproot it, if it is taken to another level, up until the system is uprooted, surely that will be the fight. And that will be the strict response through a court or wherever, whether through the streets.
Finish in 30 seconds.
Yes, ndakatotarisa time yangu chatorekodwa kunzi when this man used to talk, people start fidgeting, but I'll respect within 30 seconds, not even 1 minute. I'm not attacking anyone, I'm sorry, but truly speaking, I'm telling you, noipiwa coverage mukanzisaka muri kudei. We have people that died makanga makuti panga paine coverage.
You have a valid
One life
point.
lost is many lives lost. So let me land. It's not a problem for coverage. It doesn't.
Yeah. But she's complimenting you to you have varied points. I don't know if you don't understand.
He has a valid point. Ultimately, what people want is the system removed, right? But the issue that we're struggling with here is that the people, if we're honest with ourselves, people on the ground need some level of conscientization and understanding what is going on. So the question is, all these things are not mutually exclusive. It's important for people to know what's going on so that you can be able to tell them why you're saying the system it needs to be removed. So as valid as your point is, they'll give you what you want and whatever. But there's things there that people need to know, that they need to understand, that they need to be aware of, that they need to be a part of, is what I'm saying. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I think your point is valid. Ultimately, the whole thing has to go. But then the issue is the how. And when we get to the how, that's where I think where we struggle. And these kind of things become important for the ordinary person to know, because it's Cape 3. And then I saw billboards of Cape 3 when I got to Zimbabwe. They're all over the place. There's combis that are written Cape 3. So Cape 3 is introduced to the ordinary person so you have to counter it somehow. And it's by explaining because when you come out of court and say anything, it's yeah, I don't know, but it's just maybe someone else will understand what I'm trying to say. But kuZimbabwe aripo mabillboard akanzi Cape 3. And the
I
ordinary
hear you,
person.
Madube. Listen to this very carefully. Tatine program site. There's a reason why it's not Taura. Maybe I was going to say the wrong thing. So that you understand what you are saying is very important, so profound. It's just an example of our needs, symptomatic needs. Now, when you look at the issue Ma Generals here, it's a corrupt situation. Everybody is corrupt. That discussion yakwira kusvika pakuti if the media houses are owned by corrupt people, how do you question them? So it's a deep-rooted situation, it's a vicious circle. Vicious circle is what I'm alluding to say, look, when we have a system yakadaro, what other evidence can empower people to then justify Kutavachada? The system is rotten to the core, and we don't have to look around. Journalism is the fundamental tool for development. Journalism, who owns media houses? And I'm not going to say much. If you follow, anyone who's following Nawe aside, people were struggling. Talking of people who represent Zuji, no, we are not legitimizing or protecting one Wakapwa, but look, who do we charge? How? Internationally, there is no such thing as a president. But a media house, a government, in a provision, it has to be reasonable. So, but the journalism international, there's no such. So, this is where I'm saying when a system gets to that, where you can hire hose pipe, I has a hose pipe, nice it to wheel. Panipampo kuti aichasungi kunyango mai vakatidiriza kutongona apa tangonetsa someone up. Aichasungi hose pipe. I think that is enough to justify. But get my point right. You ask for this, they'll give us. Ask for that, they'll give us.
Let me hear from Grass, then Mapingu. Is Grass there?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Mapingu, then I'll go to Grass.
Yes, thank you. In any, I get what Signoro in there, and they actually have valid points. I see, it's very sad. Even if you look at the process, my consultation, from those that I heard what Judge Jackson was saying, could if I heard him correctly, sort of saying. Meaning those who are for by time you have my consultation they had no issues whatsoever. Even now, you will not even hear anyone anouya panapa achitaura kuti zveshuwa iyi coverage tiri kuida vacho vanoti vanenge vari 4 the cap 3 avako. Why? Because they know the outcome. Somehow they know the outcome. Saka isusu hedu, as much as I understand what Senior and Madu is saying, valid points, but the fact of the matter is tinenge tatonzwirwa tsitsi kuti hatisuda kukuradzai kuti chinhu ichi taakutochiendesa mberi muchinyatsoona. Pamwe ndingatoti tatonzwirwa tsitsi kana varamba zvavo coverage, because tichabayiwa moyo tichinzwa jaji achipronounce zvaanopronounce publicly as much as tichizvida, asi ndofunga zvanhu zvatiri kuchemera ka zvakanaka because tiri kuzvida kuti tizive zvakamira sei, but ticharadziswa more. It's better tizotaurwa zvine nemalawyers kana abuda panzi vaakutiudza kunzi outcome yakamira so zvakadai. That's the feeling that I have. It's more like whatever, man. Whatever, because there's nothing that we can do now to stop this court process. Because court process iripo pari yato application yakaitwa takutongomirira tarisira kumusiki kuti kuda pamwe kana vachitidzwa ndo watakutongotarisira. Because honestly manzwa zvataura Jaiso ndo zvaataura kana ndamunzwa correctly ari panapa maybe angandi corrector. Like there's nothing that will change whether mapoor coverage or hamuna poor coverage. You see, so ndangoti probably ipapapo ndimboita sokuti support what Madu is saying and Senior, but at the same time I feel like inini I don't care. Even vakatipa coverage, even vakasatipa coverage, looks like already vanotoziva kuti outcome yakamira sei. Many thanks.